Hi everyone, this is Anam. Welcome to PhD Jobs and Admission. So students, from today's lecture, we are going to study research methodology section for your Anna University for your PhD entrance examination. As you all know, Anna University released the applications form and application form is ongoing. So please do remember the last date for filling in an online application form. So students, last date for filling an online application form is on 20th March 2023. Still 7 days are remaining, so please fill the online application form before the deadline. So this is our first lecture on research methodology, in which we are going to learn the concept through the MCQs. So detailed explanation will be there in your whole video. If you have any question, any queries, please let me know in the comment section. And before starting the lecture, I want to tell you we have complete course on research methodology. So please contact us on the given number, as you can see on screen, 9860464765. This is our WhatsApp number, or you can also access our course through the app, which is Global Online app. So without wasting our time, so let's begin our today's lecture. Before starting the MCQs, I want to tell you we have complete research methodology package, complete research methodology course, in which you will get video lectures. So video lectures, you will get video lectures in both the format, theory plus MCQs. Okay, then notes are in very simplest language, and important points are highlighted in the notes section. Then mock tests. So we have total 10 mock tests, and in each mock test you will get 40 to 50 MCQs, like that. Total you will get 500 MCQs through mock tests, and finally practice MCQs PDF, which consists of 1500 plus MCQs. So you will get more than 1500 plus MCQs, which is generally asked in several government central universities for PhD entrance examination. So 100% passing guarantee is there. So please contact us on the given number, and you will also get our study package on our app, which is Global Online app, in which in one click you will get our study material, which reduces your time. Okay, so please download our app, Global Online app, and link is provided in the description box. So without wasting our time, so let's start with the today's MCQs. First question here is the respondent male or female? This question is related to which among the following types of measurement skills? Okay, so here what they are asking, read question properly. If the respondent male or female, that means they are asking gender. Okay, so they are asking gender. Okay, if the respondent is male or female. So this question is related to which one of the following data measurement skill. So you have to know the 4 types of level of measurements or scale of measurements. First is nominal, second is ordinal, third is interval, and fourth is ratio. Okay, so what is nominal? In nominal, we categorize our variable according to their characteristics, like gender, okay, their beauty levels. Okay, so in nominal, we arrange our variable according to characteristics. Okay, then in ordinal we do same like in nominal. Okay, and name itself defines a meaning. Ordinals means we arrange our variables in proper sequence or in proper order. Okay, like t-shirt size, small, medium, and large. In interval, all the characteristics of ordinal scale is present, as well as in interval, we arrange our variable in equal intervals, like clock. Okay, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. Between 1 o'clock and 2 o'clock, there is a difference nearly 1 hour. Same like 2 and 3 o'clock. Okay, between 2 and 3 o'clock, there's a difference of 1 hour, like that. But in interval, remember, there is no meaning of 0. And then in ratio represent all the characteristics of interval. Okay, like we arrange our data according to their characteristics, we order our variables, and we arrange our variables in equal intervals, as well as there is a meaning of zero in ratio. For example, your age is 0, that means you born on that day. Okay, so like that, in ratio, remember there is a meaning of 0. So what they are asking, in a question, gender, male or female. Okay, so male or female, it is the gender which represent our characteristics. Okay, so characteristics means basically nominal. We arrange our variables according to characteristics. Okay, like gender, male or female, beauty levels. That means in nominal we arrange our whatever we have variables, they are qualitative. Okay, qualitative variables. So they are asking gender, male or female. That means it is related to nominal scale. That's why here the correct option is option B, nominal. Okay, next question. Which one of the following represent highly negative correlation? Okay, so in this question they are asking which number is representing highly negative correlation. Means what? Remember, in correlational research there is a one coefficient called Carl Pearson's coefficient. Okay, called Carl-Pearson's coefficients. So this coefficient tell us the variable is whether highly negative correlated or highly positive correlated. Means remember this, Carl-Pearson's coefficient values lies between -1 to +1, and in middle there is a 0. Okay, -1 means there is a highly or perfectly negative correlation between the variable. +1 means there is a highly or perfectly positive correlation between the variable. Okay, so in this measuring scale on this line, remember in 0, then after that what will come? -0.1, -0.2, -0.3, -0.4, -0.5, -0.6, 7, 8 and -0.9. Then after that -1 will come. So remember here -1 and 0.9, there is a nearby values. Okay, -0.9 is the nearest value to -1 among these options. Okay, that's why here the -0.9 represent a highly negative correlation between the values. Okay, so remember there will be a question in your paper, depends on correlational research, or question comes like Carl-Pearson's coefficient. Okay, so remember Carl-Pearson's coefficient values lies between -1 to +1. Okay, and they're asking which values is representing highly negative correlation. So -0.9 is the nearest value to -1. That's why the correct option for this question is option A, -0.9. Okay, next question. Match list 1 with list 2 and select the correct answer from the options given below. Okay, so what is given here? List 1 and list 2. So in list 1 there are some terms and their definition is given us in the list 2, and we have to match them. Okay, so first of all, see, bibliography and pilot project is known to us. They both terms are known to us. So first of all we'll solve them. So what is bibliography? Bibliography is nothing but references. So bibliography means what? References where you can find previously what researcher did their works. Okay, so bibliography means previous publications where you can find previously whatever researchers did their work, you can easily find there, you can easily read there. So bibliography here is the previous publication. Next, pilot project. Pilot project means what? Where you can do a trials. Okay, what you have to do in pilot project? In pilot project, researchers try again and again whether this study is flexible or not, whether this research is flexible or not. They perform a study in a small scale and they find out whether this study is flexible, whether this study is working or not. Okay, that means pilot project is the trial run of the design project. You again and again try. That means, remember, in pilot project you do a trials. Okay, then point B, recurrence survey. So what is recurrence survey? In recurrence survey, you do a research with the help of maps and pictures. Okay, like in geographical research. So reconnaissance survey is very helpful in geographical research. Where in geographical research you do research, researchers do their research on the basis of maps. They analyze a proper land. Okay, they examine a proper land with the help of maps, okay, like sands. So in reconnaissance survey, what researchers actually do is they examine the preliminary examinations. That's why here reconnaissance survey is a preliminary examinations. Okay, with the help of maps, with the help of picture, we examine a particular area, particular land. Okay, and then next is study area. What is study area? The name itself defines the meaning. Study area, where you can perform your research. The location where you can perform your project. So study area means project area. Okay. So these are the correct matches of list 1 with list 2. Okay. And the correct option is given in option 3. That's why here option 3 is the right answer. Next question. Primary data means. So here what they are asking, the definition of primary data. Okay. So remember in research, okay, in research there are two types of data. First is primary data and second is secondary data. Names are very easy. Primary data and secondary data. So remember in your exam there will be a compulsory question on primary data or secondary data. So what is primary data? Primary data means what? Primary data, in primary data researcher generates their work, or researcher generates a data, okay, by himself. Okay, researcher generates data by himself, like by doing research, by doing surveys, by filling questionnaires. Okay, but what is secondary data? Next is secondary data. What is secondary data? Secondary data means already published data. Okay, secondary data means what? Already published data. Like uh, already published data is nothing but your references, bibliographies, in which you can find out previously what researcher did their works in journal, articles, okay, newspapers. So they are known as already published data and secondary data. Okay, so let's solve this question. So option A here is data collected from reports. In reports, remember the data is present which is already published. Already researcher did their work there. Okay. So whatever researcher did their work in reports, they mentioned there. That means this is secondary data example. And option B here is data collected from field survey. Okay, so here one type of survey research performed here, and they collect the data. That means here this is the correct meaning of primary data. Primary data means the data which is collected first time, okay, which is new, which is generated from by researcher himself. Okay, so remember primary data means what? The researcher generates data by himself only, and the fresh and the new data. That's why here the correct meaning of primary data is data collected from field survey. Next question. Which one of the following comes under probability sampling? Okay, so in this question they are asking which one of this option belongs to probability sampling. Okay, so let's see the options first. Option A is snowball sampling, option B purposive sampling, and option D quota sampling, and option D is cluster sampling. So remember, in research there are two types of sampling. One is probability and second one is non-probability sampling. Okay. So remember, in non-probability sampling, researchers select the samples from the population according to their convenience, okay, their feasibility. So remember, in non-probability sampling, snowball, purposive and cluster samplings belongs to non-probability sampling, or they are the types of non-probability sampling. Okay, in question, what they are asking, which comes under probability sampling or which is the type of probability sampling. So remember, cluster sampling is a type of probability sampling, or cluster sampling comes under probability sampling. So what is cluster sampling? So remember, first point here is very important. In cluster sampling, researchers select their samples from the population randomly. Okay, the randomly word here is very important because in cluster sampling, researcher, okay, listen again. Cluster sampling. In cluster sampling, researchers select their samples from the population randomly because it is the type of probability sampling. And what we do in probability sampling? In probability sampling, researchers select their samples randomly from the population. Okay. So first of all, we'll see this diagram. This is the diagram of cluster sampling. So remember, in cluster sampling, researchers have a large amount of population, okay, which is homogeneous. Researchers have a large amount of population which is homogeneous. Okay, then what researchers do is researcher divides their population into groups. Okay, like 1, 2, 3 here in this figure. The groups here is called clusters. Okay, large amount of population which is homogeneous, then researcher converts that population into a group known as cluster, and again from this population researcher randomly select a that group or cluster whole. Okay, so here what researcher did, here researcher selected this group and second one this group, and this is the sample group. Okay, so this is known as cluster sampling. Okay, remember, so cluster sampling is the probability sampling. Cluster sampling comes under probability sampling. Okay, remember, in probability sampling, researchers select their samples from the population randomly, and the population is homogeneous always because it is probability sampling. And then after that, from the population, researcher randomly select the cluster as it is, and this is known as sample group. Okay, so this is called as cluster sampling. So here correct option is option B. Next question. Select the wrong statement from the following. So in this question, we have to find out which statement is wrong among the following options. Okay, so we'll see one by one all the options. So here option A is systematic sampling. Select the population at regular intervals. Yes, here in option A, the definition of systematic sampling is given to us. So what is systematic sampling? So we'll discuss about systematic sampling through an example. Suppose I have a population of 10 members like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. Okay. So in systematic sampling, researchers first decided what and which sample should I choose, or researcher first decide which sample, okay, which sample going to be my which from population, which member is going to my sample. Okay, so here suppose I am deciding that I will choose second member for my sample. Okay, then second point here is in systematic sampling that researchers select their samples in the regular intervals. Like I am saying here is I'll select every second member from the population. Like I am skipping 3, then I am selecting fourth member. Okay, then I'll skip fifth member, I'll select 6. Like that I'll select I'll skip 7, then I'll select 8. Again I'll skip 9 and I'll select the 10th member from the population. Then my samples become like 2nd, 4th, 6th, 8th and 10th. So these are my samples which I selected in a regular interval. So this is known as systematic sampling, and this is the correct statement. Then option B here is the population divided into various subgroups, and each subgroups having a representation in a sample design called stratified sampling. Yes, this is the definition of stratified sampling, and this is the correct definition. What happens in stratified sampling? Remember, in stratified sampling, there are large population. Okay, from large population, researcher divides groups into homogeneous groups. Okay, subgroups, homogeneous subgroups, and from that homogeneous subgroups, researcher randomly select their sample. So this step and this procedure is known as stratified sampling. So this is the correct definition of stratified sampling. Then option C here is the members of population are fairly homogeneous where simple random sampling is used. Yes, whenever researcher use simple random sampling or researcher use the randomly samples from the population, that time the population should be homogeneous. This is very important sentence. Okay. Okay, so here option C is also correct. Then here option D, simple random sampling is not just like drawing a number in a lottery. No, this is the incorrect statement, because simple random sampling is also known as lottery method. As you know, in lottery method, they selected the person's name randomly. Okay, like that in simple random sampling, researchers select their samples from the population randomly. So here option D is the wrong statement, and this is the correct option. Next, fundamental research is otherwise called. So very important question and famous question. So what is fundamental research? Fundamental, remember, in fundamental research, a researcher develops new theories, new ideas, and new concept. Okay, new theory, new ideas, and new concept to increase their knowledge and to increase their curiosity. So basically, fundamental research is researchers do fundamental research because they want to know what is happening, how this theory is coming, how these methods are, how the methods came like this. Okay, so behind that, what happened is researcher increase their knowledge. Because of researchers wants to increase their knowledge, the researcher wants to fulfill their curiosity. That's why researcher basically do fundamental research. And remember, whatever things in fundamental research is new. Okay, so fundamental research is fundamental research, researcher develops new theories, ideas, and concepts. And whatever these theories, ideas, and concepts, they all are new. That's why fundamental research is also known as pure. See, whatever things are new, okay, that should be pure. That's why fundamental research is also known as pure research, or fundamental research is also known as basic research. Remember this. That's why here option D is the right answer. We'll see the remaining option which are incorrect. So here option A is action research. So remember, in action research, what we have to do, in action research we solve immediately a problem which are arising. Okay, action research is the type of, you can say, applied research. Okay, in action research, action means quick. Okay, we immediately solve a problem. Then in survey, option B here is survey. While doing survey, researchers collect the data. Okay, so here the survey is the collecting data part. So here option B is also incorrect. Then option C is pilot study. What is pilot study? In pilot study, researcher performs a small level study and decide whether the research is flexible or not, feasible or not. Okay, so here pilot study is also not related with the fundamental research. So here correct option is option D, pure research. Remember, fundamental research is otherwise called pure research or basic research. Next, so type 1 error occurs if. So in this question they are asking us when type 1 error occurs. Okay, so they have given us a 3 or 4 statement, and we have to select by which one statement type 1 error is occurring. Okay, for that you have to remember this table. This table is very important. Take screenshot. Okay, so while going through this table, so first of all we'll see from which concept the type 1 error, type 2 error, these concepts are arising, these terms are arising. Okay, so remember in research, what researcher do? Researcher test their hypothesis. Okay, first of all in research, researcher lay down hypothesis, which is tentative statement, temporary statement, and researcher test their hypothesis throughout their research. Okay, so while testing hypothesis, researchers do some mistakes, and their mistakes, and the mistakes is known as errors. Okay, and in research the errors are of two types, type 1 error and type 2 error. So through this table we'll learn what is type 1 error and what is type 2 error. Okay, so remember here in table your null hypothesis is true. Okay, your null hypothesis is true, and even though you are rejecting, okay, your null hypothesis is true and you are rejecting your null hypothesis, that means you are taking here a wrong decision. So this is known as type 1 error, or you are here mistaking. Okay, so here when your null hypothesis, H naught means null hypothesis, when your null hypothesis is true and then you are rejecting it, means here you are taking wrong decision, means you are doing here error. That's why it is known as type 1 error. And simply when type 2 error occurs, when your null hypothesis is false, means your null hypothesis is incorrect and you are accepting it. That means you are taking, you are doing again mistake. That means you are doing error here. So it is known as type 2 error. Very simple, when your null hypothesis is true and you are rejecting it, so it is type 1 error. Your null hypothesis is false and you are accepting it, means it is type 2 error. And they are asking type 1 error occurs if when the null hypothesis is rejected. Okay, you rejected null hypothesis when even though it is true. Okay, when your null hypothesis is true and you are rejecting it, that means null hypothesis is rejected even though it is true. So this is known as type 1 error. That's why here correct option is option A. Next, hypothesis relates. Okay, so remember what is meaning of hypothesis. So hypothesis is nothing but tentative statement or temporary statement. Like for a small time or for a short time you consider if I'll do that, so this happens. Okay, you are guessing something. Okay, so hypothesis is nothing but guessing something. Okay, let's say an example so you can know easily what is hypothesis. Okay, for example, here I'm doing exercise daily. Okay, I'm doing exercise daily. I'm doing exercise daily. Okay, then what will happen to my weight? Okay, if I'll do a daily exercise, I'll do suppose I'll do daily 3 hours exercise, then what will the effect of exercise on my weight? My weight decrease day by day. Okay, my weight start decreasing day by day. It's happened. Okay, so here you can see exercise is one variable. Okay, and weight is here other variable. Let's say according to research or in research methodology, if we relates to variable, that means one variable should be independent and other dependent. Okay, so here exercise hour is independent variable and weight is dependent variable, because weight is depend on exercise. Okay, how many hours you are doing exercise, that matters. Okay, that's why if I am doing exercise daily 3 hours, then what will happen to my weight? My weight automatically decreases. So here what is happening between variables to variable? Hypothesis relates between the variables. So it is my guessing. It is nothing but guess. Okay, I am guessing here if I am doing if I do exercise daily 3 hours, then my weight will automatically decrease. Okay, so this is my guess. This is the tentative statement, and the statement is between two variables, which is exercise and weight. So remember, hypothesis relates variables to variables. Okay, so here correct option is option D. Next, dash is a source of primary data. Okay, so remember in research there are two types of data, primary data and secondary data. Okay, primary data and secondary data. So what is primary data? Primary data means while doing research, researcher generates data by himself. Okay, and secondary data means already published data. Okay, already published data where researcher put their data in the form in the newspaper, journals, articles. Okay, so here newspaper and articles, these are the source of secondary data where researcher can put their data which is already published. Okay, but questionnaires means a set of questions. Questionnaires means set of questions while researcher do a surveys. Okay, while doing surveys, researcher give their respondents a set of questions and researcher asks them to fill that question, and through that question researcher generates a data. So here questionnaire is a primary source of data. Okay, that's it, and thank you for watching this video. Good luck with your preparations.